So this, excuse me, this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and today is the 5th day of the Parshas of Titzaveh. And this is actually the last day or the last week of the Shovavim. Over here, the Zohar is going to go in, which it does at different places. It starts going through the holidays, and this is part of the Parshas of Titzaveh. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to see how that it is, in fact, shaykh to the concept of tshuva. And so we're going to take a look at a pasuk right now in Tehillim, which the Zohar wants to start with. So I want to contrast the way that the art scroll, and excuse me, the way that the art scroll translates this, and the difference between who the art scroll has just purely what we call pashtus. They're pashtanim. They deal only with the exact translation as the way they understand it, as the simple meaning, but they don't know too much so, or any. So let's go over here to number 4, which is where it starts, and it says like this: Tiku b'chodesh shofar, in that month, and we're talking about, in this Zohar, we're going to be talking about Rosh Hashanah and the Dinim that are associated with it. It says Tiku b'chodesh shofar, so blow the shofar in its month, bakasa. And it says, bakasa. Now, kasa has lots of different meanings, or different meanings. One is that kisei is a throne, or a chair, a beit kibbel. But at the same time, it means to cover something over. So let's see what he means. So he says that bakasa, I would say with a covering over way, liyom, for the day of our holiday. Now let's see, that's the way I translate it. Let's see what the art scroll says is the translation of this, and then perhaps we could compare it to our Zohar. It says, blow the shofar at the moon's renewal at the time appointed for our festival day. So the kaseh, that is the art scroll, translates this at the appropriate time. Now how they got that, I don't really know. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to see what the Zohar says. So like we've been doing the last couple of times, I'm going to read a little bit of this Zohar and on the top. And then we'll come back in and we'll look at the Matok Midrash and see how we can understand. So the Zohar says, Pasuk Ahu Saba v'Omar. So yesterday we hinted at the fact, and it's not revealed to me, that the word saba is actually a gematria of 63, which is one of the what we call the miluyim of the name Yud K Vav K. Comes out to a gematria of 63. That's Yud Vav Daled K, Yud Vav Aleph Vav K Yud, gematria 63, but it's not revealed to me at any rate exactly the secret, but we saw in the last shir that as Rebbe Shimon and his Chaverim were walking along, they ran into this saba, and Rebbe Shimon knew right away that this old man had a tremendous amount of secret. So now the old man began to speak, and he said this pasuk: Tiku b'chodesh shofar, blow in its right time the shofar, b'kasa the yom chagenu. So once again, we have this word kasa, which you have to wonder, it's a kasa for the day of our holiday. The Zohar goes on, Hashta ihu zimna. This is the time, the hisara dini law tekifa, than which upper dinim are aroused, the really powerful dinim. Because ihu is and when these dinim are awakened, sitra achra is takef b'chadei. Then the sitra achra, as a result of these dinim, gets stronger and stronger. V'keva, and since the ihu is takef, so now that it's become powerful, salag v'chapia, the secret of the little nahir nahora. It goes up, it covers over the moon, the little nahir nahora, that it shouldn't shine its light. So this is a kind of the word lakase, or the bekase, as a covering. This is completely different than what the art scroll saw. V'ismalia besitra de dina, and it becomes filled with the side of din. Kaden kol alma ihu bedina, that's where you see the whole world is subject to din. Eloyin v'satayin, upper worlds, lower worlds. And then an announcement is announced in all of the firmaments. Now we saw today earlier, in that early morning shir that I have, Baruch Hashem, where the concept of a rikia is like a curtain or a mavdil. In other words, you have a tremendous amount of light which is not acceptable down below because it's just too powerful. It would cause us to cease to exist, so it has to be covered. And so as it's covered, then you get the radiance on the other side of the covering, and it keeps going like this until the light gets small enough so that it can come into us. So in all of these firmaments, an announcer comes and announces, Iskino kursia de dina lamari de kula. So now here's the word kursia. We have established the throne or the seat. This is another word for kasa again. So he says, the dina lamari de kula, he says, this is the throne of din for the master of everything. Dihu boy lamedon, because he's now going to come and pronounce judgment. So let's go on a little bit more. Now there's a secret over here. He says, V'isnihir lon b'madra. This light shone for us when we were in the desert. So why is it, so I think he means to say that in Rosh Hashanah, but I'm not sure yet. So he says, why is this the day that this din is revealed? Ella kol rozin v'kol kedushin yakirim, because all of the secrets, all of the most precious holiness, kuhul talyan b'shaviyah, all of it really depends on the number 7, or what comes in the 7th. V'haku shaviyah, so this 7th is Elor. This Shaviyah Elor, the upper 7th. Alma Elor is the upper world. The Ikri Alma Da'asi, which is called Alma Da'asi. Now we've seen this word before. Let me move this over this way, away from that light as much as possible. So he said the Ikri Alma Da'asi, which is called the future world, and Alma Da'asi always refers to Bina. Minei Naharim kol Butzinim v'kol Kedushim v'kol Berakon, and it is from this that all of the lamps, all of the Kedushin, all the blessings are kindled. So let's go over here and let's take a moment on this 5th day of the week of Parshas Titzaveh, at the conclusion of the Shovavim, and let's see what the Matuk Midavash has got to say. And we're going to read the Zohar again, but this time we're going to read it with the Matuk Midavash, and he's going to hopefully reveal to us some of the things that were hidden in the Zohar. So Pasach Haku Gosava, so the Saba, this that we met along the road, Pasach Osa Saba began to speak. Va'amar, he said, let me take this Pasach, Tiku B'chotet Shofar, so blow in the month, the proper month, the shofar, B'chesa the Yom Chagenu, and it'll be a kasa for the day of our holiday. So we still have this concept of what does kasa mean? What does the Zohar think it means? So Hashta Ihu Zimna Lihisara Dinna Ilor Tekifa. Ata, he said, B'Rosh Hashanah, and Rosh Hashanah hu hazaman she is Orer Din Elyon Mebina. That the upper din, because we have a postulate which says that in Bina, Dinim Misa'are Minor. That from Bina, that's where Dinim start. They are aroused from Bina. The din chazak mechagavura dezer anpen, and at the same time it arouses the very powerful din, which is the exercising of the din in the left line in the gavura of zeranpen. Because ihu is aran, when it's aroused, din misora lamala. As Sitra Akra, then the Sitra Akra is tak if it becomes more powerful bahadeh. A Sitra Akra mischazikimo the ktarag v'lahalshin. So then what it does is that what does a Sitra Akra do? It's important, we see it in the Zohar all the time. Sitra Akra is an accuser. It's the one inside of your brain that tells you that you're doing it wrong. It's constantly telling you to correct, because you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. There's no Torah in that conversation saying that is a pathway to be able to correct your wrongness. Then you're in trouble over here. That's what the Sitra Achra grows on. So he said, and lahalshin. So in other words, this is to say terrible things about you, to accuse you. Begam the kabel koich din, and so therefore, corresponding to that power of din, it has the ability of the yasser of the lahamis to really punish a person, to kill a person. The call echad kivisha nigza onsham, and that is specific and particular to every individual on that day The dinim become very particular. V'keven de'ihu istake. So now that it's gotten so much stronger, salig v'chapia l'sichruch d'lo nahir nahora. It goes up, it covers over the moon, so that it can't shine. Hu odo umachase es or hamalchus. It goes up, covers over the light of malchus she'eni yichol l'hayir ela tachtonim, so that it can no longer shine. Now I'm going to make a little drawing on this in a minute, so to try to make it understandable in a concrete sense. V'naase kir barzel, it becomes like a wall of iron beina tachtonim v'alyonim, between the lower worlds, which is us, which is that we're talking here about a situation where the lower world is messing up. Ad she'ein hamalchus yichola l'chashpia lamata, until a point comes that malchus can no longer give. She can't pour out all of the brachos that she has with him and with her, because it's covered, and that's that word lekasa, it's covered over by really our sins. Umatam zen, for this reason, nimna gam mimenu ha'or malamala, it stops the light from flowing down into her. If she is blocked up from down below and she can't give, the ha baha talia, because these two things go together. She mashpas mashbiim loss mishpas. So if it's pouring into her, and what's happening instead, what's really pouring into her is dinim. Let's just go back over that again, and I'm going to just stop right here and make a quick drawing again on Zer Anpin. Give me a second to get my drawing tool. Excuse all the good little stuff that I do. And let me just stop this a minute so that I can find. Okay, so let me come over here. Let's make a drawing of Zer Anpin. Let's go like this again, like we do, like this little drawing that I do. Let's see if I can get it in here. Okay, this is Zer Anpin. Now it comes out that Zer Anpin has 3 lines. One line is blue. That's the right line, all blue. Whatever comes down, because he's going to pour this into malchus. Let's just write the word malchus here. Close. Anyway, malchus. So then he has another line. He has a line on the left. This line is the line of din. It's all red. And then he has another line, which is green. That is the middle line. I don't know if this is a good drawing. I'm, always one of the worst artists in the world. But this is to give us an idea that Zer Anpin pours into malchus. But it depends on what's going on in the stimulation from up above that is coming to Zer Anpin, what actually becomes part of malchus, how she becomes filled. So let's understand that if we're in a time of sinning, he gevura tato, malchus is called the lower gevura. Let me straighten this out. She's called the gevura tato, haba megevura ilor, which comes from the upper gevura. In other words, as the left line of Zer Anpin, what we have here, pours into malchus, that she becomes full of gevuros, and actually she's made out of gevuros to begin with. So this is how it starts. So he says, ilor kaden kol alma ihu bedina, because when you have just this one flow of the left line coming into malchus, then that means the balance scale is going to punishment. The whole world then will be in din. Ki kol bechinas adinim, because if she's receiving dinim coming from Zer Anpin, as a result of that, everything down below is going to be receiving it again as well. Elohim v'satoim ve'olyonim shehem ayin Sanhedrin. So now, I'm not sure exactly what to do with this, but he says the upper judges, that is the 70 people of the Sanhedrin, v'chatachtonim shehem kol malachi adin, and the lower ones, which means the malachim who carry out the din. Hamuchan le'Rab who were prepared in order to fulfill as gezar hadin shenipsak lamala, which has been decreed from up above. V'kuruza kriz b'kulchu rikin. Then there's an announcement. It says askina kusur the dinah. So prepare the throne of Din, Lamari de Kula, who is the master of all. Hiskino Kise Din, the throne of Din, Shuha Malchus, which refers to Malchus again. La'ada Nakol Shuhu Bina, let her be prepared to receive from Bina. Bina means the Dinim that are aroused in Dina, in Bina. So Nikwas Kain Lefi Shakulam Yatsibibena. So she's called this. She's called the throne of Din because everything comes from her, all the Dinim. Dihu boy maiden, that's what she wants to do. Shehi, that is Bina. Wrote to the Dun, she wants to judge as call Hanimsoim Ayedecha Malchus, everything that she finds through Malchus. So in other words, Bina, the Dinim that come from Bina, come into the Nukva of Zer Anpin, to the female side. Let's go on and look a little bit more. So he said, there's a secret over here. Vis nihir lon b'madra. V'yesh kan sod. So let's go back here. What we've been talking about, he talked about the desert, and that we had been thrown into the desert, a desert which was full of klipos. V'yesh kan sod v'hakodesh baruch hu heir bo as einenu b'midbar. So he says a secret here. The secret is, as Hashem Yisborach shone into our eyes when we were in this barren place in the desert. So why is it that on Rosh Hashanah, Laman is Ara Din Ha'elyon Mitzad Bina B'Yom Hazer? Why is it that the dinim that are in Bina are all aroused on this particular day, Shal Rosh Hashanah? So it's a Rosh Ratzon Lomer wants to say like this: Ma la le'ima she'is arach. So what is ima? He says another way of looking at it. What's going on with ima at this moment that she wants to get involved in this tremendous of pouring out this tremendous amount of din? Elokol rozim elokol hasodos hainus sod hamochin the ketzer. So he says all the secrets. So the secrets are what? Are the mochin that come from the most high place, which is we call ketzer. V'kol kedushin, v'kol the kedushas hainu hamochin the abba. And then he's pairing different words with different concepts. So first he says Ella kol rozin. That's what's come from Bina. So he says those are the mochas. Those are the mochas the ketzer. V'kol kedushin and all the holy things that comes from Abba, which is chochma. The kirim hainu hamochin the ima, and then he says the precious ones. Those are the mochin that come from ima. Another means the mochin of upper parts and partsufim, which are flowing down into zer anpit. V'rotzon of the kol hamochin and nimshachin lezun. So here he concludes malchus with the Zohar. In other words, it goes into zer anpin and ultimately flows into the nukva. Ayedera tfilos Yisrael. So all of those good things, and where do they come from? They come from the good things that we do, from our prayers. Kuhul Talian B'Shviyah. All of this, everything that's going to come out, depends on the seventh. What's seventh mean? Kula Tuluyas Be'ima, Shehi Shiviyas Miyasod Lamala. Now let me just make a real quick drawing here, and try to help out to understand the basic principle, which probably everybody knows already. Is that Zer Anpin. Here we go again with another Zer Anpin. This is a quickie Zer Anpin. Has a yesod at the bottom. It's a pool. Let's make it a little bit bigger because it has to hold all the flows of the three lines. Remember we said there's three lines. 1, 2, and 3. Or maybe it goes the other way. Actually, that's wrong. It's 1, 2, and 3. That's really the way that it's supposed to be. Okay, you see this in the prayers and so on and so forth. It flows into the yesod. And then the Yesod flows into another pool, which is called Malchus. Okay, I screwed this up the last time. I get it right this time. Okay, so you have two pools. You have the pool and the pool of the pool. So he says like this: if you count up the spheros from Yesod, the next one is Hod, which is where we're at today, and then it goes to Netzach, and then it goes to Tiferes, and then it goes to Gevurah, and then it goes to Chesed. Count those up, those are 6, and you go one more madrega, you come to what? To Bina. And we drew Bina as a cloud the last time, right? Fitting into this, pouring into that. Okay, you can work on that and think about it and try to give me some hints as to how I can straighten this up a little bit more. So he says, let's go back over here and let's try to finish this Zohar up. So therefore, when you count for the motion, that's one way of counting. In other words, you count from Yesod, which is the basic pool of all that flows in, up 7, you come to Bina. So he said, so you could count, that's if you count from Nisan, Va'ad Elul, until Elul, Heim HaChesed ad Yesod, that's from going B'Chesed to Yesod, V'Chodesh HaShvi, then you come to the 7th month, Shuhu Tishrei, Hu Be'ima, that goes back once again, you could say this is coming to Ima. Shvi is Al Havog, so she's the 7th to the other 6 months, or the other 6 spheros of Zeranpin. Vahu Shuviyah, so this 7th one, Elor, the one that's up above. Almare Law, the Ikre Alma the Asi, the upper world, which is called the world of the future. Vahashvi Hua Elyon. It's the upper. Shuhu Olam HaElyon, the upper world. Hanikra Olam Haba, it's called this, and of course, Olam Haba refers to Bina. Minayin Nahara called Butsinim from Emmanuel from Bina. Meirim Kol Haneras, this calls all of the lamps, all of the candles to shine. Shehin HaMochin de Bina, which are her mochin, which spread, which flow. The Bina Atzbacha bebechinas or HaMeir, this is the concept of a light that shines. V'kol Kedusha, Shehem HaMochin, the Chochma. So all of the Kedushas, what are the Kedushas? We had said previously of the Mochin, the Chochma are shining. Shehiba bechinas Kodesh. V'kol Birkon, and all the blessings, V'kol Birkon, the B'Shem HaMochin, the Das, and the Mochin, the Das, or the Mochin of the middle line. Shukol Elu Heim Sod HaMochin, and Imshachim Bebina the Zun, all of these are Mochin that are coming from Bina into Zohar V'Nok. So now these flows, Heim B'Kol Yom, Kol Yemos Hashana. The truth is that the flows and the paradigm here is the same every day of the year. This is Baruch Fleischman at the Tikkun Elevator Kolel. This is the 5th day of Parshas Titzaveh. Thank you for listening.